Welcome everyone. This is a presentation of data instance prior in generative adversarial networks. This is a joint work with Nupur, Mayank, Balaji and Professor Vineeth. In this particular work, we will deal with the challenge of training GANs in limited data, where their training typically diverges and results in low quality samples. We tackle this challenge by proposing a novel transfer learning technique known as data instance prior, which achieves state-of-the-art in terms of image quality and diversity on few shot as well as large-scale benchmarks. As you can see in this particular figure, across training iteration, the performance of the baseline collapses and diverges, whereas the performance of DISP is stable and achieves state-of-the-art. Our approach is motivated by two facts. First of all is to exploit the knowledge extracted from pre-trained networks on a rich and diverse source domain. The second one is motivated from the reconstructive framework of IMLE, and we use and inspire from this framework to propose a regularizer to prevent mode collapse and discriminator overfitting. So here is an overview of our training approach. As you can see in the figure, we introduce a new module known as the data instance prior module, which take an image X and passes it through a pre-trained network C. This particular pre-trained network can be either trained in a supervised or a self-supervised fashion. After passing it to the network, we get a feature which we call as data instance prior. We use this data instance prior to condition the SNGAN with projection framework. Here is the loss function that we use during the training. It is a standard hinge-GAN loss function, and the only difference here is that instead of conditioning on the class condition variables, we use data instance priors to condition the training. And since these data instance priors are extracted from pre-trained network, the above training objective leads to feature level non-list distillation from C. Moreover, it also acts as a regularizer on the discriminator to reduce its overfitting. Additionally, enforcing that the generated image is closer to the corresponding data instance prior also promotes mode coverage of the target data distribution. We now move on to inference. Since in our training we use data instance prior, we require same in the inference also. So to have the access of these data instance prior, we define a set D prior, which contains the data instance prior of all the training samples. We consider two cases. The first one is few shot and limited, where the size of this particular set is less and it is easy to store them. Hence, we can directly use it to sample the prior samples. During the inference, we can define a mix-up distribution over these samples and sample it from them. In the last scale, where this particular set is very large enough, it could be in millions also, and it's difficult to store them, we run a GMM over them, and this enables the memory efficient sampling of the conditional prior. We now move on to results. The first one is a few shot image generation, where we show the performance of our approach with only 100 training images. As you can see here, DISP in the conjunction with other baselines results in better performance in terms of FID, precision and recall. FID measures how the quality of the samples, whereas the precision and recall measures the diversity. Here the samples of samples generated by a method. The even rows depicts the samples generated by DISP in conjunction with the baselines. As you can see, they are better as compared to the corresponding baseline equivalents. In the red, as you can see, there is a graph which shows the performance as we vary the number of images in the dataset. As you can see, even with as little as 25 images, this methodology is able to achieve better results. Here's the large scale image generation results, where we compare the DISP methodology with the SSGAN self-conditioned GAN as baseline. Even though DISP is made for few shot, we apply it out of the box on large scale image generation setting, as we can see, even in these setting, it results in state-of-the-art performance. At last, we also observe that the data instance prior give us some control over the high-level semantics of the image. Example here, gender, glass, etc. Hence, we use this observation to do some kind of image editing and sketch to image translation using data instance priors. Here are some of the results for the same. Please refer to our paper for more such results. Thank you.